Introduction. People are becoming more interested in cryptocurrencies, which is a trend that is expected to continue. Many of your friends and coworkers have definitely been talking about blockchain technologies like Ethereum and other similar technologies, and you've probably felt left out as a result since you don't grasp what the sector is all about. To tell you the truth, the vast majority of them have no clue what they're talking about, as we have discovered. You may be surprised to learn that many people approach this world with a distorted perspective of it and distant dreams of making money in ways that are completely disconnected from reality. In fact, the vast majority invest, if one can call it that, their money in projects they do not understand simply because cryptocurrencies are the future, as if that is the only reason they exist. In reality, the only way to properly address this industry in a long-term, sustainable manner is to first have a complete grasp of the technical and economic underpinnings on which it is built. The objective of this book is to explain the fundamental principles of cryptocurrencies and blockchain in a straightforward and understandable manner, using realistic examples that anybody and everyone can comprehend. That being stated, this book will not be another eulogy for cryptocurrencies as has been done before. Instead, every element will be covered in the most neutral manner possible, allowing you to make an informed decision on this subject matter. Cryptocurrencies are technological in nature and should be researched using data rather than the transient emotions of a rising or declining market, as is the case with traditional financial instruments. Although it is not the aim of this manual, you will get the knowledge and abilities required to approach the investing side of cryptocurrencies by studying the contents of this book. Therefore, if you have chosen to address this field with a certain amount of seriousness for the first time, this book may be regarded as a step-by-step training manual. Chapter 1. Cryptocurrencies. In recent years, according to industry analysts, a new payment system has emerged that is tightly linked to information technology and the internet. This payment system is called a cryptocurrency. Throughout the 20th century, the internet was the most major technological advance that happened, with ramifications that could be felt across all aspects of human life. On a broad scale of daily life, a widespread shift in social, economic, political, and legal circumstances has happened, with the effects of these shifts being felt only slowly and in a disruptive manner. Banking institutions also have to adapt to the constantly changing environment in which they operate. To make their payment systems more effective and efficient in terms of facilitating speedy and secure online transactions, firms are continually improving and, in some instances, reinventing them. Companies are constantly upgrading and in some cases, revolutionizing their payment systems. Right in front of our own eyes, the world of payment systems and money is undergoing a sea change right now. In response to the introduction of new financial instruments and systems, as well as the proliferation of digital resources and channels, the creation of new procedures for financial transactions and capital investments is underway. Cryptocurrencies, also known as virtual currencies, play a critical part in this process of technological innovation and adaptation, and they are becoming more popular. What exactly are cryptos? Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency, and it has been in use since January 2009, making it the most extensively used cryptocurrency in the world. After that, in April 2011, the second cryptocurrency, named Namecoin, was released to the public, just 2 years after the first. Since then, thousands of virtual currencies have developed, hundreds of which can be traded on exchanges and have substantial value and market capitalization. Virtual currencies are becoming more popular. Virtual currencies are gaining in popularity all of the time. What are cryptocurrencies exactly? The answer is neither clear nor straightforward when it comes to addressing the issue. Because it makes use of cryptography to maintain the security of its transactions, it is classified as a digital asset, asset in the widest meaning of the word. It is also utilized as an exchange asset between subjects working on the network. Cryptocurrencies are digital assets in the broadest meaning of the word. They are digital assets in the broadest sense of the term, As a result of the current state of rules and use of cryptocurrencies, determining which category of assets they belong to is not yet possible. This is known to as the generic asset designation. For all intents and purposes, cryptocurrencies are analogous to coins in that they are assets that may be used to buy further assets. Coins, like as Bitcoin and Ethereum on the other hand, are not regarded to be assets. In contrast, as will be discussed in greater detail later in the thesis, they have characteristics and applications that are similar to those of financial assets in the sense that they are placed into circulation by companies as a means of financing the companies themselves, a function that is similar to that of the stock market, but without entitling those who purchase them to become owners, shareholders of the company in question. Indeed, blockchain technology, which acts as a public ledger that allows users to participate in the network and regulate it in the absence of any central authority, serves as a unifying feature for all of the many virtual currencies in circulation. When it comes to the events that have propelled cryptocurrencies to the forefront of public consciousness, the vast potential for application of the blockchain across a diverse range of discipline areas is undoubtedly the component that has sparked the public's most intense interest. It is possible to exchange virtual currencies for real money on the internet. Virtual currencies are digital, equal, and decentralized, and they work on the internet. Cryptocurrencies are decentralized, which means that, in contrast to conventional currencies, they have no central authority that deals with their creation or oversight, no central bank that controls their value, and no middlemen that are required for the confirmation of transactions. When it comes to the confirmation of transactions and the creation of money itself, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies rely on cryptographic principles, which are performed via a process of small but ongoing monetary growth over time. The work of the miners, who are responsible for the creation of cryptocurrency as well as the validation of transactions, is critical to the operation of the cryptocurrency and must be carried out in order for it to operate. Detailed discussion of the miners will be provided in a subsequent chapter. It seems that cryptocurrencies were formed in response to the global financial and economic crisis that started in 2007, as well as the need for a unit of account that was directly linked to the interconnected world, according to the historical background of their development. By far, the most important innovation brought about by cryptocurrencies is the capacity to apply cryptographic concepts to a digital currency with a finite number of units. True, Bitcoin just became operational in January 2009, but the notion of cryptocurrency has progressed steadily over time, taking use of new technologies and requirements that have developed as a consequence of the growth and widespread adoption of the internet. Prior to anything else, it is required to establish the features that are shared by all virtual currencies, as well as to track the events that culminated in the invention of the world's first cryptocurrency in 2008, and the subsequent use of Bitcoin, which began in 2009. In order to prevent additional misconceptions, it is necessary to clarify the contrast between the notions of electronic money, through which an electronic payment may be performed, and cryptocurrencies, digital money. However, despite the fact that the two names seem to be synonymous, they are not. When we talk about electronic money or currency, we are referring to what is referred to as e-cash in the English-speaking community. Payments are made over the internet using legal tender currencies in accordance with local law, so the term Bitcoin refers to the digital money that is used to make payments on the internet. In order to complete purchases made via the internet, electronic payments must be used. Electronic payments, as opposed to traditional payments, are payments conducted without the transfer of actual money. Almost all firms that deal with this kind of payment use a similar approach to how they handle their operations when dealing with these types of payment transactions. An amount of actual money is deposited into a deposit account via the employment of an intermediary in order to establish a deposit account. If you have a credit card, you may utilize the account to make payments to any store that takes credit cards over the internet. Payments made online are deducted from a deposit and sent to the recipient's account by a payment processing company for each payment made online. Using electronic money to make payments is almost identical to using dematerialized fiat money to make payments, with the exception that there is no necessity for a physical exchange of money between the parties engaged in the transaction. Coins and other forms of digital currency, such as cryptocurrency, were the first kind of digital currency, combining the benefits of both electronic money and cash in a single electronic format. Their operation is similar to that of a bank transfer, in that they allow for distant payments. However, their operation is similar to that of a cash payment, in that they ensure the instantaneity of the transaction and incur no expenses for either the person making the payment or the person who is receiving payment. The same as with a banknote, cryptocurrency is anonymous, which means that it does not need the disclosure of the identities of the individuals who carry out a transaction or of the cause for the payment. But since they are digital and can be split nearly indefinitely, they enable transfers of any value ranging from the payment of a few cents to the administration of global commercial traffic and everything in between. The same way that a credit card works, they enable you to make payments in real time and securely from any location in the world. In contrast to traditional cash, they enable the persons who are carrying out the transaction to remain anonymous, which is a feature that many people like. Cryptocurrency was created by a man named Satoshi Nakamoto. Specifically, the article by Satoshi Nakamoto, which was linked in the previous paragraph, outlines a decentralized and entirely peer-to-peer virtual currency, also known as PTP or P2P, which enables online payments to be done without the involvement of an intermediary. In computer networks, the PTP model, in which nodes are grouped in hierarchical order via equal forms, is an example of a logical architectural model in which the nodes are meant to act as both server and customer, client or fixed server, to the other end nodes of the network. Every node in this network has the power of starting or completing a transaction, which is the most distinctive aspect of this network. Given the fact that Bitcoin, in contrast to other traditional currencies, does not have a central authority controlling and managing the issue, it is characterized by decentralization in the way in which it regulates, governs, and regulates the functioning and activity of individuals who fulfill the role of intermediaries, among other things. As with the Eurozone, the European Central Bank, ECB, governs the euro via monetary policy, and the Federal Reserve, Fed, regulates the US dollar through monetary policy. This is in contrast to the fact that there is no subject, whether it is a public or private entity, that can fulfill this function in the case of Bitcoin. Although this is true, saying that the Bitcoin network is fully unmanageable is patently untrue. In actuality, control can be exerted over the network. In the sense that it is shared among network members, it is wide and spread across the network, which is guaranteed by the adoption of a common protocol between all of the participants. The protocol is made up of a set of rules that specify how the system should be configured and operated. A system, and that the same is true in terms of the functioning of the Bitcoin program. In order for Bitcoin to be actively managed on the network, all physical devices on which the Bitcoin software is operating, formerly referred to as network nodes, must be able to communicate with one another and with other devices on the network. In general, the greater the number of nodes that join a network, the greater the significance and effectiveness of decentralization. A number of detractors claim that the currency's government and central authority are in the hands of the currency's inventor, Satoshi Nakamoto, since the currency's software and protocol were created and released by the currency's developer, Satoshi Nakamoto. According to the Bitcoin project's official website, it is open source, and as a result, it is open to developers who seek to add or remove code from the software. While the developers can make significant changes to the software, it is difficult for them to do so because each node has the freedom to choose which version of the software it wishes to use, as long as that version is compliant with the software used by the other nodes and is not incompatible with the other node's software. Essentially, for a system to function well, both users and the system's designers must agree on how the system should be used. It is possible to compensate for the absence of centralized control via the use of a peer-to-peer network and the demand for a digital signature in order to execute any Bitcoin transactions. In order to execute timestamps, which are needed to associate the application of an alphanumeric algorithm with the application of the technique, the peer-to-peer network is used. In exchange for being the first node to successfully run the algorithm, a fixed number of Bitcoin is issued as a reward to that node. According to information technology terminology, this process is referred to as hashing, and it involves the translation of a series of arbitrary length characters, usually known as a message, into a series of characters of a preset length, commonly known as hash value or message digest. Characteristics of the Bitcoin currency. ECB's 2015 guideline, Virtual Currency Schemes, a further analysis, describes virtual currency schemes as unregulated digital currencies that are used among members of a virtual community. Bitcoin is a virtual currency that may be exchanged for fiat money at any time, with both incoming and outgoing fiat currencies allowed in the transaction. It can be purchased with fiat coins and transformed into fiat coins. The following are the fundamental features of a person or thing. Decentralization. Neither Bitcoin nor any other cryptocurrency was developed or controlled by a centralized body at any point in time. The transaction control procedure is carried out by a large number of independent parties working together as a team, the nodes. It is no longer necessary to have the presence of intermediaries in order for Bitcoin transactions to be completed under this technique. Independence from the policies of the central bank. It is difficult to raise or lower the circulation of money in the absence of a centralized authority, as is the case in the case of the central bank's monetary policy, since money cannot be raised or reduced at the discretion of the issuing authority. A priori, money supply is established in line with protocol standards, and the amount of bitcoins in circulation grows in a predictable way before gradually decreasing until the predetermined maximum threshold of 21 million bitcoins is reached. In this case, the algorithm is executed via the process known as mining, which results in an increase in working capital and enables the system to be effectively maintained and run. Each time an algorithm is successfully completed, a reward is awarded to the miner, who in return gets a quantity X of freshly minted bitcoins set by the protocol under which the algorithm was implemented. The total amount of X is the sum of the commissions collected from individuals who conducted transactions during the time period in which the algorithm was run. Suppose subject A transfers 1 bitcoin, abbreviated as BTC, to subject B, and in compensation for the miner's services, subject A chooses to leave a commission of 0.0001 Bitcoin to the miners. The miner who completes the algorithm first obtains the total of all the commissions that have been earned up to that point in time. For the first 4 years after the establishment of Bitcoin, the amount X decided as a reward for successfully resolving the algorithm was set at 50 Bitcoins every successful solution. This value has since increased to 100 Bitcoins. Every 4 years, the amount of Bitcoin released after each procedure is reduced by half, culminating in a total drop of 50% over the course of 4 years. Or to put it another way, the premium for mining was 25 Bitcoin between 2013 and 2017. Each iteration of the process will be run 12.5 times per second for the next 2 years, resulting in the creation of 12.5 Bitcoins every iteration. In order for the algorithm to be run, it takes around 10 minutes. Since the algorithm is calibrated every 2 weeks to ensure that the time period has been adhered to. Every 10 minutes, the algorithm is run in the background. Working capital is increased as a consequence of this choice, which follows a geometric series that tends asymptotically to 21 million as a result of the option selected. Anonymity. When a transaction takes place between 2 public addresses, it might be impossible to tell whether or not the true natural person who operates under that pseudonym is engaged in the transaction. A public address is basically a point of receiving and transferring Bitcoin, and it can be thought of as a form of banking IBAN in the case of the cryptocurrency. Transparency. Any and all transactions are recorded on public ledgers that are open to everyone. These public ledgers are known as blockchains and are distributed ledgers that are accessible to everyone. The blockchains may be examined in order to identify how many bitcoins a public address may have, and which other addresses may have contributed those bitcoins to the public address. Simply said, it is as though every time a Bitcoin transaction takes place, the transaction is recorded in the Bitcoin itself and remains there for the rest of the world to see. As will be addressed further below, this openness does not permit the identification of a natural person using a public key, as will be explained further below. The transaction has a low transactional cost. Since a result, each Bitcoin transaction is fully free, as each user has the opportunity to select the amount of money that will be spent when carrying out the transaction. While this allows for more flexibility, fees are often in the order of 0.00001 Bitcoin. The fact that you are making so-called donations to the miners of lower quantities means that you are putting your trust in the transaction's true success, particularly if there are multiple operations taking place within the 10 minutes in which you are making your own donation. Miners' choice of selecting transactions to include in their block of transactions is made possible by the fact that miners are responsible for confirming all transactions. An individual block, as will be explored in further detail below, is considered to be a container into which all Bitcoin transactions that occurred during the time period under discussion are placed onto the blockchain. Each block may include a limited amount of transactions, with a maximum value of 4,200 transactions per block. As a consequence, if there are more than 4,200 transactions performed via Bitcoin during the time in which they are made, transactions with low fees may be stored until the end of the block There are far more commissions charged by the exchanges that deal with the conversion of legal tender currencies into Bitcoin and vice versa than there are fees charged by the exchanges themselves. This is because commissions charged by the exchanges dealing with the conversion of legal tender currencies into Bitcoin and vice versa are far greater than the fees charged by the exchanges themselves. Because of the highly high volatility that is typical of this market, as well as the lack of a defined legal framework, it is important not to ignore the fact that exchanges are taking enormous risks when dealing with cryptocurrencies. The transaction's security and timeliness are important considerations. Each Bitcoin transaction takes an average of 10 minutes to complete. These transactions are irreversible and cannot be reversed once they have been initiated. Bitcoin transactions are also unreversible under any circumstances. Blockchain technology. In computing terms, the blockchain is the computer version of a public ledger, and it holds a record of all Bitcoin transactions that have occurred up to this point in time. One way to think about it is as a chain that is formed by a collection of blocks, each of which is made up of a collection of transactions. The term chain refers to a network's capacity to record and file all transactions that take place inside it without the need for a third party to run the system. Every process has its own ledger, which is always extending to accommodate any and all information relating to that process. The information is safeguarded against manipulation or the possibility of change via the use of a defensive mechanism that relies on encryption. Throughout the network, transactions take place on a constant basis, while blocks are hooked to the chain on an average of every 10 minutes, allowing for a continuous stream of transactions to take place. Beginning with the first block, referred to as the Genesis block, each successive block is added to the chain in the sequence in which it was received, starting with the first block. The most current portion of the blockchain is referred to as a block, and it may be thought of as a container in which all transactions requiring verification are stored. It has been specified and restricted as previously indicated to a maximum of 4,200 transactions per block, or about one transaction every 7 seconds, in terms of the number of data inputs that may be made in a single block. Each block contains accounting data that functions in a similar way to a bank's IBAN number in order to keep track of all the transactions. For example, A sends a particular quantity of bitcoins to B. Following completion and validation of the block, it is joined to the blockchain and is permanently saved in the database. The transaction cannot be canceled in any way. At least once every 10 minutes, the global network of nodes executes the chaining operation, and before to authenticating a new block, it checks that all previous blocks in the chain are linked in a reliable way, a process known as chaining. All of the blocks from the Genesis block up to the last authenticated block. The mechanism as described above makes it possible to verify at any time that the transactions have been completed properly, enabling each Bitcoin to be transmitted just once and avoiding the phenomenon known as double spending, which occurs when two Bitcoins are sent at the same time. In this way, a person is prevented from simultaneously transferring the same Bitcoin to two different receivers because of the way the blockchain operates. When a miner joins the Bitcoin network, he or she is instantly given access to a copy of the blockchain, which is maintained by each node, i.e., all computers connected to the network. One transaction serves as the fundamental accounting entry for the blockchain, and each block represents the collection of many transactions, which is then comprised of all blocks to form the chain. The blockchain is a distributed computing system in which the smallest particle is a single transaction, and each block represents the collection of all transactions. Prior to the advent of Bitcoin in 2009, the blockchain had primarily served as a means of ensuring the smooth operation of the Bitcoin network. At the time, it had not yet been identified all of the different application areas in which such a technology might be used. However, there has been a significant increase in interest in this technology in recent years, and it is possible that it may have a broad variety of applications in the future. According to this point of view, the history of the emergence of numerous cryptocurrencies should be researched because it is fascinating not so much for the currencies themselves, as it is for the technologies that underpin the real cryptocurrencies themselves, which are fascinating in and of themselves. When it comes to the development of blockchain technology, companies who are participating in the process regularly create their own money. From a practical standpoint, the blockchain shares the same importance and purpose as the IPO 3.0, initial public offering, in terms of relevance and function. Offering is a popular activity for normal businesses in order to generate funds for investments in the growth of the company itself. Therefore, blockchain technology has captivated the attention of financial behemoths, as well as, more often than not, government bodies and other nonprofits. This means that the term chain may one day be utilized in the financial industry in the future, as previously stated, the so-called fintech. It is possible that as a consequence of these developments, the usage of blockchain technology may become more prevalent in the flow of information between financial intermediaries and various regulatory authorities in the not-too-distant future. While on the one hand, this will make it simpler to create control and compliance procedures, it will also boost the efficiency and speed with which supercomputers function on the opposite end of the spectrum. Beyond financial applications, the blockchain may be used for a number of other reasons and can be utilized across a broad range of professions. RegTech, which is an acronym for Regulation and Technology and refers to the use of technology tools to assist with operations such as adjustment, compliance, rules, laws, and reporting, may have a significant impact on the application of contracts. RegTech is an abbreviation for Regulation and Technology, and it refers to the use of technology tools to assist with operations such as adjustments, compliance, rules, laws, and reporting. In order to have a better grasp of how the blockchain works, it is necessary to introduce the concept of mining as well as the role performed by so-called miners. How asymmetric encryption works. Symmetric cryptography is based on the use of two keys, one of which is public and the other of which is private, to secure data transmission. The fact that the key pair is mathematically linked together by a function ensures that a message encrypted with one of the two keys can only be decoded by the other key pair if the message is encrypted with the other key pair. Let's take a look at an example to assist you better grasp what was just said. A and B are the names of two persons. Although A desires to communicate to B the contents of a text document, A wishes to guarantee that only B is allowed to access the contents of the text document that A wishes to transmit to him. Having taken this decision, A encrypts his message using B's public key, which A knows since it is public and has been made accessible to A by B. As a consequence, A's message is protected from interception. Because A no longer has access to B's private key, the document that has been encrypted cannot be decoded by A. As a result, the document that has been encrypted cannot be decoded by A. This, in contrast to the public key, is really private. Only B has access to it. With the use of his private key, B successfully decrypts the document that he has been given to decode. Soon after receiving and seeing the document, B resolves that he will respond to A by using the same encryption process in order to assure that only he can access the content of his communication. After that, it encrypts the document using A's public key, which is then decrypted. After receiving the document and decrypting it successfully with the aid of his private key, A is congratulated. The functioning of asymmetric encryption is based on a basic premise that is also very effective. As you should have learned, anybody who has access to the public key that was used to encrypt a message is unable to decode it. The only method to do so is the use of the private key that is connected with the public key that was used to encrypt the message that was sent to the recipient. Using this strategy in reverse, on the other hand, would be futile, since anybody who had access to the associated public key would be able to decode any message you transmitted using the associated private key. Mining. Miners are required to participate in cryptocurrency systems. Miners are required to participate in cryptocurrency systems. Otherwise, the systems would be ineffective. Their active participation in the Bitcoin network helps to guarantee that the protocol's security is maintained. As a consequence of their participation, they guarantee that the Bitcoin network continues to operate properly and that the protocol stays safe and secure. In the Bitcoin network, miners are in charge of coordinating and validating transactions that take place between two or more parties. Consequently, they perform the function of notaries, in that they vouch for the legitimacy of Bitcoin transfer processes by creating new blocks and adding them to the ledger. They spend the majority of their time solving hashes for the authentication of transactions and operations, and as a result, they perform the function of notaries, the blockchain. As a secondary benefit, miners provide the processing power necessary to protect the blockchain against any attempts to corrupt or centralize its operation. At regular intervals, new blocks are being added to the map. It is required by the protocol that the difficulty of solving the hashes be proportionate to the number of persons taking part in the mining process in order to guarantee that the mining process runs on time. It is required that new blocks be created on average every 2 weeks at a pace of 1 every 10 minutes in accordance with the Bitcoin protocol, no matter how many transactions are now taking place in the system, according to the protocol. This is true even if there are no transactions taking place in the system at the time. Whenever the total number of new blocks created falls short of the goal for the year 2016, the production difficulty of a new block is changed up or down, depending on whether the total number of new blocks produced was lower or greater than the goal for 2016. This occurs once every 2 weeks if the total number of new blocks created falls short of the goal for 2016. According to the ease with which the hash function can be run, the difficulty with which the block may be created can be determined. The difficulty of solving a hash increases in direct proportion to the number of subjects covered, since as computer power improves, the miners engaged in solving a hash will take less time to identify the solution as a consequence. A big enough hash function is required as part of the Bitcoin operation, which necessitates the discovery of new solutions every 10 minutes. A large enough hash function is required to handle the high number of participants that are involved in the process of applying the hash function. To guarantee that the blockchain does not become unresponsive during block operations, the protocol picks the most appropriate solution at the time of the operation. To acknowledge his or her efforts in discovering the proper answer, the miner or miners who discovered it are awarded with X number of new generation bitcoins, as well as the total of all commissions that have been imposed throughout block operations. They must have a suitable number of commissions, despite the fact that they are provided free of charge. Given that the protocol allows for a maximum number of authentications to be done with a single validation operation, miners have the flexibility to pick which transactions they want to include in the authentication process and which transactions they do not want to include, about 4,200 transactions. It is almost clear that miners will choose to authenticate agreements with higher prices first, rather than those with lower fees. By paying a fee that is less than 0.00001 Bitcoin, you run the danger of the verification procedure taking longer than it should have. A reward for miners who make significant contributions to the network's performance was designed to dissuade efforts at centralized control of the system, which would only be possible with the consent of a majority of the platform players. It is more convenient for the miners to abstain from undermining the system and to continue to contribute to its maintenance, since there is a monetary reward for their work because they have a financial incentive. A typical computer was originally capable of mining. However, this has subsequently been altered significantly. However, when the number of participants in the network rises, this function can only be performed by costly and complicated equipment that has been invented and constructed specifically for the purpose of performing this function for that particular network of participants. To be honest, not even the most advanced of these types of technology can ensure the efficiency with which hashes are now resolved. Since it takes a large amount of energy to operate this kind of equipment, the miners usually collaborate in order to increase the possibility of being able to solve the hashes and so continue the blockchain chain. Due to the rising difficulty of mining, the so-called mining pool was established in order to handle the ever-increasing problems of being able to mine effectively. In reality, mining for the majority of the most popular cryptocurrencies has largely become the sole property of mining giants. Mining pools are collections of miners that have banded together with the objective of pooling computer power in order to increase the possibility of successfully completing the various hashes of cryptocurrencies. Wallets. In many respects, Bitcoin wallets are analogous to a bank account. They function as a sort of real-time accounting statement, presenting information at all times regarding the content of the wallet, as well as the entry and exit operations done inside the wallet, in a manner similar to that of a financial institution's account statement. Despite the fact that Bitcoin wallets resemble current accounts in appearance, Bitcoins are not really saved inside the wallet, but rather are stored in a public record, the blockchain, under specific addresses belonging to distinct users rather than within the wallet itself. In reality, the addresses are only alphanumeric codes of 33 or 34 characters in length, with the first letter of each address always being a 1. The addresses are utilized as the places for receiving and transferring data. No information about the client is included inside each code, and since each code is a random collection of numbers and characters, it cannot be used to identify the user in any way. This feature allows Bitcoin to be used as a completely anonymous payment channel, enabling users to make payments under pseudonyms. Bitcoin transactions are carried out via the asymmetric transactions approach, which is also referred to as the public key mechanism, private key mechanism in certain circles. The two keys are alphanumeric codes that, when entered in the relevant places on the Bitcoin platform, enable users to make transactions and other operations on the site. Each user is in a possession of a pair of keys, one of which is public and the other of which is private, which are used to access the system. An algorithmic technique is utilized to obtain the addresses mentioned earlier from the public keys, which are in turn derived from private keys via the use of a non-injective function. See previous section. To put it another way, this approach enables you to move information from the private key to the public key, but not the other way around. When using a public key to get the private key, it is more difficult to do so. As a result, the transaction mechanism is referred to be asymmetric in this situation. The technique described above makes it difficult to access to the original keys, either the public or the private key, and as a consequence, it is impossible to locate the wallet's owner by using the address provided by him or her. It is only possible for the user to make use of the bitcoins that are now kept in their wallet during the period in which they are in possession of their private reference key. The private key must be kept in tight confidence at all times and must not be compromised in any manner. 100 public keys are produced when a new wallet is created, each of which relates to a single private key that was previously generated. Once the wallet has been built, the public keys are deleted, kpool. The user will be able to reap the benefits of having 100 different addresses connected with the same wallet as a result of this configuration. In this way, even if someone were able to link one subject to one public key, which would be extremely difficult, they would be unable to track down any other operations carried out by the same subject, because any other movement could be carried out with another 99 keys, ensuring that the subject's identity was never compromised. Despite the fact that this kind of operation looks to be hard, the system is capable of completing it completely. As it turns out, the wallet is very straightforward and user-friendly, and it doesn't vary greatly from a restricted portion of a bank's website in terms of functionality. In terms of wallets, there are numerous distinct kinds available, each of which is intended to give the level of functionality and security that the user demands. The desktop wallet was the first and most widely used sort of wallet, and it is still in use today. It consists of software that has been downloaded and installed on the hard disk of your computer. This kind of wallet may be dangerous if you do not pay strict attention to it, such as by entering passwords that are routinely changed and keeping your antivirus software up to current. If you do not take these precautions, your computer may be hacked. It would be possible to get the private key in this method, and as a consequence acquire possessions of the bitcoins that were previously held in the cryptocurrency wallet. There are many similarities between it and the desktop wallet, with the primary distinction being that it is installed as an application on your smartphone rather than on your PC. Similarly, the tablet wallet, which, as suggested by its name, will be installed into your tablet computer, may be described in the same way. However, although some believe that this is the riskiest alternative, others believe that it is also the most practical and expeditious. Others, on the other hand, propose that you store your bitcoins in an online wallet instead. It is common practice to provide this kind of service when it comes to cryptocurrency exchanges, which are online trading platforms that deal with the exchange of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies for fiat cash. Because there have been a few cases of attacks on exchange platform servers, it is highly discouraged to have Bitcoin stored on the internet in the first place. In addition, there are hardware wallets, which are devices that are designed specifically for holding the private keys that are associated with Bitcoin addresses and other cryptocurrencies. USB wallets are those that link to a computer through USB, often a USB stick or hard drive, enabling the user to interact with the wallet software while being entirely anonymous to the wallet software. The hardware wallet may then be withdrawn from the computer device when the procedure has been finished. This can be accomplished by utilizing the proper software. In addition, since the wallet is not connected to the network, gaining access to the wallet in this method will be difficult for any hacker. It is undeniably the safest and most secure method of conservation of a Bitcoin wallet, and it gives users the peace of mind that their Bitcoins have not been stolen from them. Transactions. When doing commerce with cryptocurrencies, it is almost always necessary to go via a third party. Using bitcoins in their raw form, which are commonly recognized as the most essential and liquid cryptocurrency, to convert into fiat money is recommended as the fastest and most convenient alternative. There are two ways to obtain bitcoins, either via direct deal between two persons who already hold bitcoins and desire to sell them, or through the intermediation of an exchange. Alternatively, direct exchange may be organized by means of websites that can be seen as exchanges in their own right, since they are focused with connecting persons who are interested in selling or buying bitcoins with those who are interested in purchasing bitcoins. If both parties are in the same area, the transaction may take place both online, via payments made through bank transfers, and in person, through meetings and electronic payments made while they are in the same location. In addition to taking place in areas where there is an internet connection, the meetings are usually arranged using the same website. However, the localbitcoins.com website is now operating in 15,962 cities across 248 countries, including Italy. This makes it the most extensively utilized website in the cryptocurrency sector. Italy is home to a huge number of sites that are concerned with the exchange of physical presence between individuals. A significant number of these sites can be found in practically every historic province capital in the nation's northern region, which makes it the most populous region in the country. Cities with a large number of sites include Milan, Turin, and Rome, among others. The most common means of obtaining and selling bitcoins in any case remains to be via the use of an internet intermediary, such as a reputable cryptocurrency exchange. The exchanges offer services for trading cryptocurrencies against fiat currencies, which are recognized as legal tender in their respective jurisdictions. Since they enable the presence of a trading market and its liquidity, as well as the capacity to determine a price for the different cryptocurrencies, exchanges are important to the virtual currency market's functioning. The majority of the time, they execute the functions of a market maker, which is to say, they operate as an intermediary who decides what the price of a purchase and sell of a certain asset should be, rather than as a buyer or seller. The order book exchange, in contrast to other cryptocurrency exchanges, does not acquire cryptocurrencies on its own behalf, but rather aggregates buy and sell orders. Its income is generated solely from transaction fees. To put it another way, when it comes to the purchase and sale of cryptocurrencies, the exchange does not show itself in the first person. Rather, the transaction is carried out directly between the two parties. The intermediary just serves to make their meeting more convenient. It is also possible to organize a physical gathering of persons who are interested in trading bitcoins in the way previously outlined. Brokerage service refers to the genuine broker function, as implied by the name of the service. Once an intermediary has received a buy and sell order from a user and has decided to go to market, the intermediary performs a transaction on the market. Aside from that, the risk in this case is minimal, and the reward comes from commissions. In contrast, the trading platform, which stores cryptocurrencies in their wallets and purchases or sells them as a direct seller or buyer of a customer's coin, is a more risky kind of exchange. The platform is one of the two parties that are engaged in the execution of the procedure, either the seller or the buyer. In light of the significant volatility that characterizes the cryptocurrency market, the platform takes a very high degree of risk in this last scenario of exchange, since it exposes itself to the likelihood that cryptocurrencies would depreciate or revalue in the short or long term. Because of the high amount of risk that is assumed by the platform in this final situation of the exchange, the danger is heightened even higher. The large commissions that are required in each transaction should be taken into account in this context. In this scenario, they are around 3.5% for each transaction, whether it is a purchase or a sale. The purchase or sale price may be increased in addition to, or the purchase or sale price may be decreased in the event of, a sale. After having identified and briefly examined the cryptocurrency world, with a particular emphasis on the pivotal moments of their inception, as well as the characteristics of the world's first cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, the goal of the following chapter will be to select and explain the distinctive characteristics of the main cryptocurrencies that are currently traded on the stock market. When examining the technical developments that they have brought about in regard to Bitcoin, it is critical to pay close attention to those that relate to blockchain technology, which is especially relevant in this case. According to what will be discussed further below, additional blockchain technologies have developed that, although founded on the same assumptions as Bitcoin, vary dramatically from the technology that is at the core of the cryptocurrency itself. Because of the large variety of possible applications to which these technologies may be applied, there has been a great deal of interest in these technologies. Chapter 2: The Commons Cryptos. As one of its most defining traits, Bitcoin's open-source nature enables anybody who participates in the network to contribute improvements to the platform, which makes it one of the most popular cryptocurrencies. A strength was that it allowed developers from all over the globe to contribute to the network's constant enhancement and optimization. As a drawback, it allowed for the development of new cryptocurrency rivals to Bitcoin, each of which used public information in a different manner than the original Bitcoin cryptocurrency. Altcoins, also known as alternative coins, which are Bitcoin alternatives, innovative cryptocurrencies, and cryptocurrency platforms, are the three types of cryptocurrencies that have been produced since Bitcoin's inception. In either case, a fork of the project is developed, i.e., a new software project that starts from the source code of an existing one, in this case, from the source code of Bitcoin, or it is developed from scratch, tracing or even copying nearly the entire Bitcoin protocol, which is the case, in this case, from the source code of Bitcoin. Alternative cryptocurrencies, altcoins, are cryptocurrencies that do not make substantial or significant modifications to the Bitcoin method or the blockchain, as opposed to traditional cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. In other words, they are effectively clones of the Bitcoin cryptocurrency network. The number of cryptocurrencies available to pick from is in the hundreds. The second cryptocurrency, known as Namecoin, was founded in April 2011 as a consequence of a split in the Bitcoin network. Bitcoin Cash, Dogecoin, and Dash are some of the other cryptocurrencies that have lately arrived on the market. In spite of the fact that, as previously said, altcoins do not represent substantial advancements over Bitcoin, some of them are intended to solve some of the inefficiencies of Bitcoin technology from an efficiency aspect. When comparing Bitcoin to other cryptocurrencies that were invented later, the time needed for a transaction to be completed is quite lengthy when compared to other cryptocurrencies. Alternative cryptocurrencies, as opposed to innovative cryptocurrencies, are virtual currencies whose operations, although based on the same principles as Bitcoin, differs in that it takes a fresh solution to the problem. When it comes to IOTA, the innovation may be found in the fact that the blockchain is imagined in a novel manner, or it can be found in the fact that other characteristics of the cryptocurrency are radically different. Consider the cryptocurrency Ripple, which is a centralized cryptocurrency in the sense that it is administered by a single third party. Finally, cryptocurrency platforms such as Ethereum, which will be explored later, allow for the creation and implementation of smart contracts, which are contracts that are designed to be executed automatically. When it comes to market capitalization, Ethereum comes in second place only behind Bitcoin as the second most valuable cryptocurrency. The cryptocurrency Ethereum is referred to be a 2.0 cryptocurrency, owing to the huge amount of innovation it has brought about. As one of the most major inventions of the Ethereum cryptocurrency, the fact that it is also a platform on which applications can be constructed as well as a platform on which other cryptocurrencies may be run is one of its most significant contributions. As a matter of fact, all cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, function as platforms for transactions. Nevertheless, a platform may only be used for transactions involving the cryptocurrency that was generated on the platform on which the transaction is taking place. Cryptocurrencies 2.0, on the other hand, has a platform that has been developed to be shared with anybody who desires to make use of it. This platform is used for both the transactions of the platform's principal cryptocurrency and as a platform suitable for the performance of the activities listed before. After that, we'll talk about how the Ethereum platform works, as well as how other cryptocurrency 2.0 platforms work more generally. In addition to the characteristics already mentioned, it is vital to separate cryptography from the other types of money. This new difference should be made not on the basis of the underlying technology, but rather on the basis of the platform on which they operate. This definition divides cryptocurrencies into two categories: coins and tokens. Coins are the smallest unit of currency, while tokens are the largest unit of currency. A coin is a cryptocurrency that operates independently of any other cryptocurrency. Coins have their own blockchain and network, as well as their own network of exchanges. A better term is to use tokens, which are cryptocurrencies that run on the same platform as coins and are strongly dependent on the coin in order to operate effectively. In contrast to coins, tokens do not have their own blockchain or platform. Rather, they are created inside the blockchain and platform of the coin's blockchain. In order to develop this kind of cryptocurrency, it must be built on a cryptocurrency 2.0 platform such as Ethereum or Neo, rather than any other cryptocurrency platform. Take, for example, the Neo cryptocurrency, which will be described later on in this section. Those who have made investments in Neo are rewarded with a corresponding amount of another cryptocurrency, Neo's token, also known as the gas, which is distributed to them over a certain period of time. The upshot of such procedures is that the owner of a particular cryptocurrency receives a sort of dividend in the form of another cryptocurrency token, different than the one that is now held by the owner of the cryptocurrency. The creation and distribution of additional tokens on a coin-based platform are not have to be done as a dividend to the holders of the platform's principal currency. They may be done independently of the coin. In this regard, it is worth noting that EOS, the most valuable token in terms of market capitalization, was developed on the Ethereum platform rather than in collaboration with the coin Ethereum. Ethereum, without a doubt, is the platform that has had the most success with its token operations to this point. If you go to the website coinmarketcap.com/tokens, you will notice that 8 of the top 10 tokens in terms of market value are operating on the Ethereum network. According to a succinct review of what has been addressed so far, cryptocurrencies vary from Bitcoin in terms of creative scope and are classified into 3 groups, which are designated as altcoins, innovative cryptocurrencies, and platform cryptocurrencies. Furthermore, as previously stated, novel cryptocurrencies can be distinguished in 2 ways: in terms of how the blockchain functions, as in the case of IOTA, in terms of the fundamental characteristic of decentralization, as in the case of Ripple, which is currently the most widely used centralized cryptocurrency. This is the fourth category, which comprises cryptocurrencies like as Ethereum and Neo that, as previously indicated, are not just cryptocurrencies, but also platforms that allow users to run and construct smart contracts, apps, and additional cryptocurrencies, among other things, the so-called tokens. There are various ways in which cryptocurrencies that function on the platforms of other cryptocurrencies differ from typical cryptocurrencies. Traditional cryptocurrencies are referred to as coins, i.e., those that have their own blockchain and platform within which they may operate independently of the rest of the cryptocurrency ecosystem. Bitcoin, for example, is referred to as a coin. Another kind of cryptocurrencies, such as those that run on a platform that is shared by others, such as Cryptocurrencies 2.0, are classed as tokens, and as a consequence, they seem to be dependent on the platform through which they operate. To better understand Bitcoin in the context of the current turmoil that is consuming the market, I believe it is necessary to study that many cryptocurrency categories one by one, defining the characteristics of each category. As part of this analysis, the most significant coins linked with each other of the crypto categories under discussion will be studied as well. Market cap. The phrase market cap will be used to describe the first idea that will be used to the examination of cryptocurrencies, and it will be defined as follows. When calculating the market capitalization of a cryptocurrency, the number of units in circulation multiplied by the average market price of that cryptocurrency yields the market capitalization of that cryptocurrency. In this context, the market capitalization of equities traded on regulated markets might be compared to this figure of $1 trillion. Because the market capitalization of cryptocurrencies is calculated in a similar manner to that of traditional financial instruments traded on stock exchanges, such as stocks and bonds, there is a tendency to compare cryptocurrencies to traditional financial instruments traded on stock exchanges, such as stocks and bonds. In actuality, as will be explored further below, cryptocurrencies are in no way analogous to shares of stock in the firms that issue the cryptocurrencies in question. In reality, those who possess a cryptocurrency do not become owners of the firm that created the cryptocurrency, but rather own an asset that was issued by the company itself as a result of their holding the cryptocurrency. This asset, on the other hand, is unique from all other assets that are recognized by the legal system. The financial product is neither a stock nor a bond, nor is it a financial instrument that is both at the same time. The volume of trade. The entire number of trading operations that have taken place on a cryptocurrency exchange is represented by the volume of transactions, a measure of how valuable a currency is in a certain unit of time. The quantity of securities traded on a regulated market, and subsequently the volume of cryptocurrency trading on a decentralized exchange, may be seen as a reflection of the level of interest that investors have in a particular asset or market, according to some analysts. Moreover, volumes serve as a barometer for the health of a market, as well as a source of information regarding the nature of the connection between supply and demand. It is also important to look at market volume while studying cryptocurrencies, since it provides an approximation of indication of how liquid a digital currency is in comparison to other digital currencies in the same market. In the view of technical analysts, the volume of a trend is a measure of the intensity or pressure that is driving the trend. It is believed that the bigger the volume, the more reliable and long-lasting the trend will be in the long run. Participants in the financial markets think that the trajectories followed by prices on the chart are governed by principles that are akin to those that control the movement of a person in physical space, and they assign these physical features to the market. A common effect of this is that volumes, or rather the increase in volume during an upswing, is considered more essential than volume during the final stages of a downward trend. Therefore, a thorough examination of the volume trend may provide a number of crucial indicators that corroborate or raise doubts regarding the direction of the volume trend. Supplies for the circulatory system. The third factor that will be taken into account is the amount of money in circulation. In this section, you will find information on the total number of cryptocurrency units that have been released. One of the most important aspects of cryptocurrency is that it can only be issued in a certain number of units at a particular moment. This is known as the supply constraint. To this end, the amount of money that has already been released is crucial, The closer you are to the maximum number of coins that have been issued for the cryptocurrency, the more probable it is that the value of the cryptocurrency will increase and the asset is limited. Similar to this, the maximum value of cryptocurrency units that may be obtained must also be considered. The lower this number, the more likely it is that cryptocurrency's worth will be high in the future. Obviously, the price depends above all on the validity and reliability of the cryptocurrency project in question and the trust that the market places in this project. The price of a single cryptocurrency will most likely be lower than the average price if we take into account cryptocurrencies that have a high quantity of circulation. On the contrary, when a cryptocurrency only has a limited number of units in circulation, its price is more likely to be higher than the average price in the market. As a consequence, while assessing working capital, two precautions must be taken. The first is to evaluate working capital in absolute value, and the second is to evaluate working capital in relative value. The letters high and low indicate how valuable the currency is in comparison to other competing cryptocurrencies. Second, it must be considered in proportion to the total quantity of money that may be made available for circulation in the economy. In terms of their numerical characteristics, the following are the three most significant characteristics that can be determined concerning cryptocurrencies. For the study, these three qualities are the only ones that can be taken into consideration, and they are by far the most essential, due primarily to the difficulty in gathering more reliable data and performing the research over a sufficient period of time. Altcoin. Aiming to examine the potential benefits of investing in cryptocurrencies, I believe it is necessary to identify the most important altcoins, listing their primary characteristics as well as their advantages and disadvantages, and identifying any potential future developments that could affect the price or cause them to become more widely used. A number of factors are taken into consideration for the purpose of selecting and analyzing the most significant cryptocurrencies in an approximate manner. These factors include market capitalization, trading volumes, and presence on various cryptocurrency exchanges, as well as their interactions with other cryptocurrencies and their interactions with fiat currencies. Market capitalization indicates that Bitcoin Cash is the most valuable altcoin. This cryptocurrency, which ranks fourth in terms of market capitalization and is the most valuable cryptocurrency in the world, is the most valuable altcoin. Dash, which is ranked 11th in terms of market capitalization, and Litecoin, which is ranked 5th in terms of market capitalization, are the other cryptocurrencies to be discussed here in 11th place. We'll go through each of the altcoin cryptocurrencies listed below in further depths in the following paragraphs, which will be done in decreasing order by market cap. Bitcoin Cash is a cryptocurrency. A fork of the Bitcoin cryptocurrency was produced on August 1, 2017 as a result of the creation of Bitcoin Cash. In reality, we speak of a hard fork, given the importance of the fork in question. In addition to carrying on the Bitcoin project, this cryptocurrency seeks to improve upon some of the inefficiencies present in the process. Following a vote among developers, the Bitcoin Cash developers agreed to make an equal quantity of Bitcoin Cash accessible to everyone who owned Bitcoin at the moment of the cryptocurrency split. It is as a consequence of this that the cryptocurrency is at the moment of its inception reliant on Bitcoin. Starting with the very beginning, the blockchain of the Bitcoin Cash cryptocurrency was connected to the blockchain of the Bitcoin cryptocurrency. For the time being, the blockchains of the two cryptocurrencies remained similar until August 1, 2017, after which they began using a new blockchain that is entirely distinct from Bitcoin and operates in a completely different manner. Despite the fact that it is a fork of the original Bitcoin and has only been in existence for a short amount of time, the cryptocurrency Bitcoin Cash has swiftly garnered appeal in the cryptocurrency community, less than a year. Despite the fact that it was created as a fork of the original Bitcoin, it has grown to become one of the most valuable cryptocurrencies in terms of total market value. In addition to being a cryptocurrency, Bitcoin Cash, abbreviated BTCC, is also distinguished by extreme market volatility, as are the majority of cryptocurrencies. When the Bitcoin network's programmers and developers couldn't come up with a satisfactory solution to the so-called Bitcoin scalability problem, they created Bitcoin Cash as a consequence of their long-running disagreement. When the network's programmers and developers couldn't come up with a satisfactory solution to the so-called Bitcoin scalability problem, they created Bitcoin Cash as a consequence of their long-running disagreement. The problem refers to the restriction on the amount of transactions that may be executed inside the Bitcoin network at any one time. According to what we learned in the first chapter, the issue of a limited number of transactions that can be handled by the network is related to the fact that blocks in the Bitcoin blockchain have a finite size and occur at a limited frequency. The dimensional issue in particular refers to the fact that only a limited number, 4,200, of transactions may be confirmed in a single block of data on the Bitcoin network, as explained here. Alternative solutions to the issue of frequency are tied to the fact that the Bitcoin system is intended to enable a block to be verified typically every 10 minutes, as opposed to every 10 seconds. This function cannot be modified, since it was designed by the Bitcoin creator in order to guarantee that the amount of Bitcoin units available for distribution was kept to a tight minimum. According to the above-mentioned timeframes, the maximum number of transactions that may be verified per second is 7 transactions. In situations where there are more transactions than there are validators available, this may become a problem, as it may cause certain transactions to take a long time to validate, with the theoretical possibility that a transaction would never be verified altogether. Bitcoin Cash was created specifically to address this issue, and as a consequence, all persons who use it are contributing to the resolution of the problem. Proportionally to the amount of Bitcoins they owned, Bitcoin owners became owners of Bitcoin Cash in the same proportion as they owned Bitcoins. As a consequence, there has been a blockchain split similar to those that have occurred with previous forks, which has resulted in complete independence between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash as of the split date of August 1st, 2017. The most major difference is that each block in BTCC is substantially bigger in size than in conventional cryptocurrency, enabling you to conduct more transactions inside each block that you could in old cryptocurrency. Litecoin. In terms of market capitalization, Litecoin is the 6th most valuable cryptocurrency after Bitcoin and Ethereum. In accordance with the cryptocurrency's official website, it has been in circulation since October 7, 2011, and according to the main page of its website, it is a decentralized global currency built on Bitcoin technology. The project's designers also said that the project's purpose was to improve the technology behind Bitcoin by filling in some of the gaps that existed at the time of its inception. A former Google employee named Charles Lee published the first version of the Litecoin program on the software project hosting platform GitHub in October 2011 as an open-source project. Comparing Litecoin to Bitcoin, the key qualities that separate it from Bitcoin are the shorter time period required for block validation, as well as the significant increase in the total amount of cryptocurrency units made accessible by the system in contrast to Bitcoin. When it comes to the first Litecoin innovation, it is meant to solve the problem of the maximum number of transactions that can be verified in a single block, in addition to the issue of the maximum amount of time that a block may be valid. Reduced block validation durations have the potential to increase the efficiency of the two challenges mentioned above. This is a possibility if we are talking about the total amount of Litecoin circulating units that the system expects to see. We need to make a distinct argument. Whenever Bitcoin's value in terms of fiat currencies reached a substantial level, it became more difficult to utilize it as a method of payment. Although it is impossible to split Bitcoin into percentages, this difficulty was generated less by the fact that Bitcoin cannot be divided into fractions than by the fact that Bitcoin cannot be divided into percentages. Bitcoin is transferable up to a minimum unit of 0.000001. It is clear from the website of the Litecoin cryptocurrency that it is a clone of the Bitcoin cryptocurrency. In actuality, the website openly states that the cryptocurrency's functioning is similar to that of fiat money, which contradicts the claim. With the letters LTC, Litecoin stands for peer-to-peer, and it is a cryptocurrency that functions on a P2P, peer-to-peer, network, and is based on an open-source operating system. At the present, Litecoin is the second most valuable virtual currency in terms of market capitalization, behind Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin, like all other cryptocurrencies, is not created or issued by a central authority, but rather comes to life as a consequence of mining activities carried out by individual users. This work is carried out by so-called miners, who are tasked with solving complex mathematical problems in exchange for digital money such as Bitcoin. Another characteristic that Litecoin has with Bitcoin and other virtual currencies now in circulation is that it is a decentralized currency. Each fully verified block will result in a reward of 50 Litecoins for the miners, which is a huge incentive. The dividend for Litecoin is the same as it is for Bitcoin, in that it is halved every 4 years, just as it is for Bitcoin. Approximately every 2.5 minutes, the network generates a so-called block, which is then connected to the others to form the blockchain, which is the public record of all Litecoin transactions that are available to the general public. It is similar to Bitcoin in that the system has already decided the maximum amount of Litecoins that may be generated, which is 84 million coins. Charles Lee, the inventor of Litecoin, drew a comparison between Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency at the time of its establishment, comparing Bitcoin to gold and Litecoin to silver, according to the founder. The logos for each cryptocurrency were also chosen with an eye toward comparison and contrast. For example, the first logo is gold in color, while the second logo is silver gray in color. Initially, the comparison was made with gold and silver in order to provide justification for the existence of both cryptocurrencies. The two precious metals serve the same safe haven function, and the difference in price between the two precious metals is characterized by the fact that they are both in limited supply. Litecoin was also voluntarily made less rare than Bitcoin. To communicate an important point, Lee used the analogy of two cryptocurrencies that are remarkably similar to one another to illustrate the possibility of cohabitation between them. Monero. When it comes to cryptocurrencies, Litecoin was the first to gain widespread acceptance and prominence on a global scale, to the point where it has frequently been the subject of articles in prestigious publications such as the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times, which have identified it as a potential alternative to Bitcoin, if not, in some cases, as the cryptocurrency's replacement. Because of the surge in popularity of alternative coins, a huge number of programmers have begun working on and developing new cryptocurrency projects as a consequence of the surge in interest. As a means of advancing the development of alternative cryptocurrencies, the programmers of each have determined that it is necessary to distinguish each of them by a conceptual or programmatic distinctive quality, which may ensure a characteristic of exclusivity for the new cryptocurrency in order to facilitate their development. In early 2014, one of these efforts, known as Monero, which is abbreviated as XMR, came to an end. It was the motivation for the establishment of the cryptocurrency known as Monero. The cryptocurrency has been in existence since April 18, 2014, and the most renowned developers are the Spaniards Ricardo Spagni and Francisco Cabanas, who are both based in San Francisco. In the beginning, the cryptocurrency was referred to as Monero, but the prefix bit was eventually eliminated in favor of the moniker Monero, which is now commonly used. Financial privacy, as well as the crypto slogan, "You are your own bank," are stressed by the Monero programmers throughout the film's introduction of the cryptocurrency. Both phrases are repeated multiple times throughout the film. It is a digital currency that is governed by a network of users and whose transactions are confirmed and immutably recorded on the crypto blockchain. It is decentralized, digital, and safe. It is based on cryptography technology and is totally controlled and managed by humans. A key attribute of Monero is its ability to give users with security, privacy, and the ability to remain anonymous and untrackable. While the blockchain operates in a manner very similar to that of Bitcoin, it is not completely visible, which guarantees that the cryptocurrency stays anonymous. All transactions are conducted out with the origin, quantity, and destination of each transaction remaining a secret from the parties involved in the transaction. Consequently, Monero combines all of the characteristics of Bitcoin into its own design while maintaining the secrecy and anonymity of transactional data. In each case, the possibility for cryptographic technology to be governed by a network of users whose transactions are approved and immutably recorded on a crypto blockchain remains regardless of the circumstances. This implies that they may have the option of deciding whether or not they want a certain transaction or a collection of transactions published, as well as which subjects are allowed to see the transaction. Dash. After Bitcoin, Dash is the last altcoin that will be discussed in this thesis. A peer-to-peer cryptocurrency, Dash is similar in nature to Bitcoin in that it is open-sourced and decentralized in nature. CEO Ryan Taylor, a former management of the American corporation McKinsey & Company, founded and is now the chairman of the board of directors. The digital currency, referred to as Xcoin, first entered circulation on January 18, 2014, and has been in circulation since that day, XCO. On the 28th of the same month, the currency was renamed Darkcoin, and it went through another rebranding in March 2015, this time to Dash, from the English digital cash. In spite of the fact that Dash functions in a similar fashion to Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency has made a number of upgrades to the way it operates, as well as the speed with which transactions are handled. Dash's administration functions are unique from those of Bitcoin's administration functions in that they are decentralized as opposed to Bitcoin's centralization. Generally speaking, there are two sorts of functions in Dash networks. The first is the Minotaur function, and the second is the master node function. As with other cryptocurrencies, it fulfills the same duties as the former. It facilitates block formation as well as the verification of transactions that take place inside the blockchain network. A separate role is played by the master nodes. These are the nodes that are in direct contact with the optional functions of Dash and are hence referred to as such. They are really optional services that may be selected by people who make transactions with Dash and are paid a fee for doing so. Additional capabilities are available in addition to the regular functions, including the so-called private send and instant send options. It is particularly important that users of the Dash payment services be able to conduct their transactions in total secrecy, which is addressed in the first function of the detail. In order to offer this service, a number of transactions that have been performed by persons who have shown an interest in utilizing this service are mixed. By using this approach, Dash may move expenses and income from one public address to another without incurring any additional costs. With the fact that each user has 100 public addresses associated with each public key and a total of 100 public keys, it will not be possible to tell who completed the individual transactions using this approach, even if it is known who made each transaction. It is the capacity of persons who hold a wallet Dash to execute transactions that are validated in real time that is denoted by the phrase instant send, 1.4 seconds on average. This pair of functions is, as previously indicated, guaranteed by the master nodes. In fact, they are regarded as knots of extraordinary significance. For the system to work properly, the master nodes must be up and running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they must also deposit a minimum of 1,000 Dash coins into the system. In addition to the responsibilities listed above, the master nodes play another important function, which is described in further detail below. They have the opportunity to actively participate in the growth of the Dash network as a result of their considerable Dash holdings, which they have done so in recent months. The sponsorship of projects proposed by users or developers is the primary means through which the Dash network is expanding. These ideas, which may be made available to the master nodes, are evaluated and finally submitted to a vote by the master nodes in a dedicated section of the website. It is the Dash network that sponsors the projects that have been picked by the master nodes. As a result, the general functioning of the Dash network is improved. In addition, since projects are funded exclusively via Dash payments to programmers, financing is completely self-sufficient. It is possible for the network to become self-financing as a consequence of a kind of taxation that happens when a new block is added to it. When miners create new blocks, the amount of dash created by those blocks is divided in the following ways. In addition, the miner who solved the hash matching to the block gets credited with further 45% of every dash earned. In addition, 45% of the earnings are transferred to the master nodes as compensation for the work they have done to guarantee the optional functionalities are available, with the remaining 10% being placed in the Dash escrow account. Chapter 3: Innovation Cryptocurrencies and Cryptocurrencies 2.0. After that, we'll talk about creative cryptocurrencies, which are ones that, when compared to Bitcoin, have a considerably different distinguishing characteristic in their functioning. Ripple and IOTA are two of the most prominent cryptocurrencies in existence, and you may have heard of them before. Ripple is the first cryptocurrency, followed by IOTA. It is generally agreed that the basic characteristics of both cryptocurrencies are unusual and considerably different from those of ordinary cryptocurrencies. When compared to other cryptocurrencies, Ripple differentiates itself by being a centralized cryptocurrency, which implies that all aspects of the cryptocurrency's management, security, and verification of transactions are managed by a single company or organization. For the reason that it does not reliant on the blockchain and instead functions via the Tangle, IOTA is a really groundbreaking technological advancement. Ripple. Founded in 2012 by Ryan Fugger in California, Ripple is a financial technology company that specializes in the transfer of assets, defined as fiat money, gold, and other commodities, over its distributed ledger network. In this regard, the company in question is pursuing its commercial aim, which is being pursued by the so-called Ripple Lab in San Francisco, which is committed to the formation and development of the Ripple platform as well as other initiatives, with the intention of developing a technology that would allow for the establishment of a new real-time payment system, with its major function being the transfer of currency between banks or financial institutions. The Ripple company was formed. There has been a significant amount of collaboration between the company and banks, particularly European banks, in the development of a platform that was intended to compete with SWIFT, Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication, from which the term SWIFT bank transfer, in technical jargon, is derived to mean an interbank and international payment. Despite the fact that they are still in the early phases, there are several collaborations with financial intermediaries. Following the conclusion of these agreements, a feasibility study for the usage of Ripple as a new platform for performing interbank transactions will be developed. In addition, the XRP cryptocurrency, commonly known as Ripple, is a unique digital currency that many cryptocurrency industry experts do not even consider to be a cryptocurrency. The fact that XRP is not a decentralized digital currency is a significant element in the digital currency's devaluation and subsequent foreclosure. The Ripple platform, despite the fact that it is based on a blockchain architecture, is administered by the Ripple company, which is responsible for creating and guaranteeing the transactions that take place on its platform. An additional element of Ripple that differentiates it from the rest of the cryptocurrency market is that it was built with the exact same goal in mind as the company when it was first established. Because it is not intended to be used as a widely accepted currency, XRP is not intended to be used as such. Instead, it is intended to serve as money that can be transferred between financial intermediaries, allowing for the replacement of outdated systems such as SWIFT while increasing the efficiency of the process. According to some speculation, Ripple's final feature may be the one that pushes digital money the farthest away from the crypto world and the closest to the world of conventional banking. On the basis of this analysis, it is feasible to declare that XRP represents a first point of convergence between the worlds of banking and cryptocurrency. When banks and financial organizations see cryptocurrencies as a danger and a potentially hazardous source of speculative bubbles, the fact that Ripple is the first cryptocurrency to get genuine attention from financial intermediaries is noteworthy. Since 2012, the Ripple company has been releasing its own cryptocurrency, known as XRP, into the market. In addition, one of the most important characteristics of the cryptocurrency is that it was created in such a way that all of the XRP units predicted by the system were released instantly. The predicted number of 100 billion XRP units were mined at the time of its creation, making it the most valuable cryptocurrency ever created. Because of the large number of Ripple that has been mined, when compared to the Bitcoin maximum limit of 21 million, it was decided to produce a considerable amount of Ripple for the purpose of operating the cryptocurrency. Ripple's inventors did not intend XRP to become a virtual store of value, virtual gold, in the same manner that Bitcoin has, and as a result, the value of XRP cannot rise to levels comparable to that of Bitcoin. It is expected to be used in a practical way by banks for the execution of interbank transactions in the near future, according to the researchers. Given that the company's goal of replacing SWIFT technology has been accomplished, all banks would be interested in holding considerable amounts of XRP in order to be adequately able to protect the operations they intend to perform with the cryptocurrency. IOTA. It is an open-source, non-mineable cryptocurrency that was developed and published between 2015 and 2016 by a group of German engineers as part of the Ethereum blockchain project. With donations from users, the IOTA Foundation was founded in support of the project, with funds raised from users going towards the project's growth and expansion. This cutting-edge cryptocurrency was developed with a particular goal in mind: to relieve the burden and weight that comes with using blockchain technology. As stated on the official IOTA website, the project's designers sought to move the cryptocurrency in the direction of lightweight monetary systems and transactions. According to current projections, there will be more than 50 billion devices connected to the internet by the end of the next decade, which was the starting point for the development of the IOTA. The IOTA was founded on this fundamental premise. It is anticipated that these devices will be able to connect to the internet from everywhere on the planet, including regions where banking institutions and financial services in general are either non-existent or just minimally available. On top of that, these newly industrialized countries, which are exposed to the interconnected world, suffer from weak state institutions, which fail to enforce the state currency and subject it to frequent and significant devaluations, in addition to the problem of inadequate development of the financial economy. People who utilize such fragile and substantially depreciated coins will find it hard to make ordinary payments with them as a result of their condition. IOTA's purpose is to make it possible to administer micropayments while also ensuring their security and using as little extra resources as possible in the process. A capability of exchanging tiny quantities of money in real time will be required for network devices to communicate with one another in the future. Internet of Things, IoT, devices were first developed expressly for this purpose, and they continue to be beneficial in almost every other situation in which it is required to handle any kind of transaction, including large ones, on a global scale. This ambitious goal was established from the beginning of IOTA's design, and it was decided that the cryptocurrency should be separated from blockchain-based cryptocurrencies in order to accomplish it. For the IOTA ecosystem, where there will be hundreds of millions of linked devices, a new mechanism was necessary in order to scale the network while preserving the aim of distributed consensus as the overarching goal. Further, from the position of IOTA, we want to promote the use of cryptocurrencies for daily activities. Yet, in order to do so, we would have to validate hundreds of transactions every second, which would be prohibitively expensive. Despite advancements in blockchain technology and transaction processing speeds, none of the cryptocurrencies have been able to validate more than 200 transactions per second. As previously mentioned for other cryptocurrencies, including the extension of blockchain blocks and the reduction of validation periods. When it comes to design and execution, the Tangle is essentially different from the blockchain protocol. It is a software system built on direct acyclic networks that is fundamentally different from the blockchain protocol. Before going on to describe what is believed to be the most important creation of the Tangle, it is necessary to first explore the concept of direct acyclic graph. A direct acyclic graph is a type of graph that is commonly referred to as an acyclic graph-directed graph, from the English directed acyclic graph, DAG, and it is a category of graph that is sometimes referred to as a digraph, from the English directed acyclic graph, DAG. The digraph is a more extended variant of the basic tree chart form, which is used in many situations. Unlike other types of diagrams, tree diagrams include a common source as well as a collection of nodes that are positioned at various levels. In contrast to the tree chart, a digraph does not have an organized structure, and the nodes that link each source do not seem to be arranged in any particular order. It is made up of nodes or boxes, which represent the nodes in the graph, and arcs, which indicate the route that must be traveled to go from one node to the next on the graph. Crypto 2.0, a new generation of cryptography. Cryptocurrencies, to be more specific, platform cryptocurrencies, often known as 2.0 cryptocurrencies, were formed as the consequence of a notion proposed by Vitalik Buterin, a Canadian programmer of Russian descent who resides in Toronto. As the inventor of Ethereum, he is the youngest inventor in history, having done so in 2013 at the age of only 20 years old, making him the world's youngest inventor. According to the Canadian developer, the goal was to use blockchain technology in its totality, rather than confining its application to the world of Bitcoin, as was previously the case. Another operating system, the Neo, was developed in a way that was almost comparable to Buterin's original proposal. They are a development of Web 3.0 in the sense that they are an extension of Web 3.0 since they strive to promote the widespread dissemination of the smart economy via the large-scale production of applications, shared software, and smart contracts. The open-source nature of these platforms, as well as the widespread capacity to exchange information among all users of the platforms, contribute to the development of the smart economy on these platforms. Users may download any program and piece of software for free, and the scripts for each program and piece of software are open to anyone who desires to study them, regardless of their affiliation. Ethereum. While Bitcoin is primarily a digital currency, Ethereum is also a decentralized platform for the administration of smart contracts, which distinguishes it from Bitcoin. Despite the fact that Bitcoin is intended to be used as a virtual medium of exchange, Ethereum creator Vitalik Buterin did not want his project to be restricted to this one function when he first launched it. When it comes to platforms, the word incorporates a significantly broader spectrum of ideas than when it comes to Bitcoin. The Ethereum platform, which includes the Ether cryptocurrency, abbreviated as ETH, has the main attribute of serving as a platform for the development of applications, software, and smart contracts. Apps that are designed to do the precise activities that were programmed into them at the time of their formation with the mutual permission of all of the parties are used to carry out these duties. The use of this method eliminates the possibility of an outage due to censorship, fraud, or any other kind of interference by third parties. While working on Ethereum in 2013, Buterin had the goal of maximizing the value of the cryptocurrency by exploiting all of its features. In actuality, he believed that employing technology as a fundamental ledger for the sake of trading a currency was limiting the coin's possibilities. After being built for the first time in 2013, Ethereum was made available to the general public in February of the following year in its first publicly accessible version. The public has now been given access to a series of software releases, each of which has introduced and developed 3 new programming languages for the generation of smart contracts, in addition to a number of other significant capabilities. Among the funds used to construct the network was the first public presale offer of Ether, which was organized in a way similar to that of IPOs, initial public offers, and allowed the platform to raise around $19 million in Bitcoin from the general public. The most simple description of Ethereum is that it is the world's largest shared computer, capable of delivering massive amounts of power that is accessible anywhere and at any time. With another way of putting it, Ethereum is a computing platform that is remunerated through the usage of the cryptocurrency Ether in order to allow the exchange of goods and services. To put it simply, it is a platform that can be adopted by anybody who desires to join the network and who, as a consequence, will have a solution that enables all participants to access an immutable and shared archive. A programmable blockchain, the Ethereum project is flexible and may be used in a wide range of application areas due to its programmability. As a programmable blockchain, it not only enables you to do preset and standardized operations, but it also allows users to design their own operations. Ether, the cryptocurrency used by the Ethereum platform, serves as the cornerstone for the functioning of the whole Ethereum network. It is in charge of the execution of all transactions and procedures that take place on the platform. Suppose a user chooses to run his or her own contract on the Ethereum platform, and in return for this service, the user pays the system in Ether, ETH. Additionally, the designer of an application or program that makes use of the Ethereum platform is obliged to pay for the service that is being offered by Ethereum in a similar manner. If the subject has any Ether on hand, the payment may be made in that form. If the subject does not have any Ether, the payment can be made via work, which is the act of supplying one's processing power to the Ethereum system in return for the payment. When it comes to the way the Ethereum blockchain operates, it has many of the same characteristics as the Bitcoin blockchain, including the ability to send and receive payments. The miners, who are in charge of building blocks and verifying transactions, play a critical role in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. On average, a block is formed every 15 seconds, and miners get 15 Ether for each block they create as a reward for their work. The protocol does not foresee a maximum amount of Ether that may be released, and as a result, there are around 100 million Ether in circulation at the time of writing. According to what the system is now predicting, the amount of Ether will continue to climb on a constant basis in line with the pattern that has been established. The possibility that programmers would propose a change to the infinite growth of Ether cannot be ruled out, and if implemented by the network, this might result in a gradual decrease in its emissions, similar to what has happened with Bitcoin. Smart contracts. A defining aspect of Ethereum, as well as the most major innovation it has brought about, has been the introduction of smart contracts. To put it simply, smart contracts are computer protocols that make it simpler to negotiate the partial or entire execution of a contract, as well as to verify and enforce the contract's conditions. It may be summarized as follows: computer-generated contracts that are automatically executed by a computer system using this form of contract structure. Many various kinds of contractual terms may be made partly or totally automated, self-fulfilling, or both, as well as self-executing. The purpose of smart contracts is to offer more security than presently accessible contracts, while also minimizing the transaction costs associated with contract negotiation. Because smart contracts are run on the Ethereum platform, which is responsible for authorizing, validating, and authenticating contracts among other things, it is the Ethereum platform itself that maintains their security. NEO. Since its launch in February 2014, immediately after Ethereum, NEO has risen to become the second most significant blockchain platform in the world, behind only Ethereum itself. It is a Chinese developer initiative that aims to compete with the first platform, which was introduced immediately after Ethereum in February 2014, and has since gained widespread attention. To achieve its lofty goal of assisting economic growth via the development of a smart economy, NEO has established high standards for itself. Using the NEO coin, the NEO project monitors smart contracts and software development on its platform, which is funded entirely by the NEO project's cryptocurrency. It is necessary to make payments using the NEO cryptocurrency. Blocks are formed at intervals of 15 seconds between each other, which allows the platform to run on the blockchain technology. The miners, who are responsible for generating and authenticating blocks and are therefore paid with a set amount of Bitcoin in exchange for their efforts, are also responsible for ensuring that the network remains operational at all times. While acknowledging that their project is similar to Ethereum in many aspects, the NEO programmers assert that the NEO project has an advantage over Ethereum in terms of scalability, i.e., the number of operations that can be authenticated by their blockchain every second. NEO varies substantially from Ethereum in that it supports a far broader variety of computer languages that are commonly used, such as Microsoft.NET and Java, while Ethereum only supports a few. This gives Bitcoin a substantial edge over Ethereum in this regard. To construct Ethereum, on the other hand, a complete grasp of the programming languages that were used to create it is required. There is also a significant difference between the NEO and Ethereum projects in terms of the maximum number of NEO units that may be issued, which is fixed at 100 million units in the case of the NEO project and 1 billion units in the case of the Ethereum project. Chapter 4. How to invest in cryptocurrencies. There is a short discussion of the most frequent ways of investing in cryptocurrencies, as well as the most typical methods of producing revenue from such investments in this section. Trading. Through the use of regulated exchanges, it is possible to buy and sell cryptocurrencies. These exchanges provide users with access to a global market that is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and from any location in the globe, allowing them to transact at their leisure. It is possible for users to select between two kinds of exchanges: centralized, controlled by commercial businesses, where money must be given to wallets maintained by the exchange itself, and decentralized, where funds do not need to be transferred to wallets handled by the exchange itself. The funds remain in the possession of the user, and the trading takes place on peer-to-peer platforms. However, users of the former may be subject to restrictions depending on their country of origin, and they may also be more exposed to hacker attacks than those of the latter. In terms of both cash and personal information protection, the latter are more technically complex and targeted at a more skilled user base, but they provide a greater level of security in terms of both cash and personal information protection. There are also other methods of getting cryptocurrencies quickly, such as exchanging them for other currencies. ICOs, aka Initial Coin Offerings. This crowdfunding category is dedicated to utility tokens, which are cryptocurrencies that, when held in one's possession, offer access to certain things or services supplied by a specific corporation or organization. They have been the topic of considerable discussion in the past, but they have enabled consumers to see significant returns on their investments in a very short amount of time. In response to the rising exposure of consumers to this kind of offer, in which assets are handed directly to the teams without any guarantees, a huge number of initial coin offering, ICO, scams have been perpetrated. The evolution of initial coin offers, ICOs, into initial exchange offerings, IEOs, has occurred as a consequence of growing consumer awareness, initial exchange offerings. ICOs and IEOs are similar in that they are both handled by large exchanges who, in addition to running the crowdfunding operation, also operate as users' agents by certifying the legitimacy of the projects that are being presented by the participants in the crowdfunding operation. Therefore, a user who has confidence in the exchange is more likely to make an investment in a certain venture. STOs, aka Security Token Offerings. Current work is focused on the development of a crowdfunding category dedicated to security tokens, which are digital coins that represent true shares in a particular company. Following the expression of authorities' judgments on certain initial coin offers, ICOs, defining them as securities rather than utilities, this kind of offering started to be identified and categorized as such because, in contrast to traditional projects, It is possible to sell and then trade on a market that is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It is possible to reach a worldwide audience. In contrast to regular initiatives, which are closed on weekends, this initiative is open on weekends. It is important to keep an eye on the growth of this kind of offer since it has the potential to represent the vast majority of efforts that will take place in the future, making it worth monitoring. Lending. Loans are a mechanism for investors to earn interest on their Bitcoin holdings by lending them money. Among the many types of lending available, the most common is that provided by exchanges, where cryptocurrencies are loaned to traders who place requests for them, borrowers. The vast majority of platforms guarantee the total repayment of the money given, as well as the interest that is collected on that money. It is becoming more popular despite the fact that it is meant for experts in the trading business due to the possibility of earning ever-increasing profits. Stock options and coins. When it comes to investing in the markets, one of the most important questions to answer is whether to trade cryptocurrencies or whether to trade a strategy. And this is also one of the most difficult questions to answer since the markets are always changing. Both have distinguishing traits that make them very valuable in their own right. The first is the fact that both types of tactics have the potential to be effective in certain circumstances. The answer will vary depending on the kind of gadget you are using and the manner in which you want to utilize it. Because each cryptocurrency is distinct from the others, there is no optimal strategy or approach to acquiring and trading cryptocurrencies. This implies that investors must pick which method they like and which strategy they are most comfortable with before they can begin investing. If you want to trade successfully, you will need to apply one or a combination of many of the strategies outlined below. You should also bear in mind that not all expert strategies can be utilized in every situation. It is necessary for everybody to have its own environment as well as a psychological approach that is appropriate for the scenario. Basic expert techniques that may be utilized in trading include indicators, charts, graphs, and oscillators, to name a few examples. Take note that they all have features that indicate they will be around the top and bottom of the market on any given trading day, which indicates they are more or less useless in the long run. To anticipate where the price is most likely to be in the future, a variety of expert methodologies are used. Remember that, even if you find this strategy to be advantageous, it is not guaranteed to provide accurate results 100% of the time. Technical analysis, as well as the application of resistance and support, are the most successful expert ways for selling coins at a higher price faster than they can be sold at a lower price, according to the experts. The majority of the time, indicators are utilized in this kind of marketing. Another approach that has been established by experts is the identification of strong sellers. Once again, this is a form of analysis that is entirely subjective. Similarly, if someone else feels that a certain trend is stronger than the average, they may assume that it is a good time to buy, but they may be erroneous in their assessment. Because of this, it is best to stay with what you know and sell more rapidly rather than selling at a lower profit margin. Using historical data, another expert approach is to predict where the price will be in 3 to 4 hours by evaluating the past. This kind of research requires taking into account historical data and other factors in order to determine which coins will be more valuable once the market opens up for business. Scalpers, who need to sell their coins before the value of their coins begins to rise in order to make a profit, often employ this strategy of selling their products. A third expert strategy entails making purchases at the most appropriate time of year. As a consequence of this, you will be able to determine when the best times are to sell your property. Using this method is not recommended for new traders, since the overwhelming majority of new traders do not understand how to determine when the best times to buy are in the market. In contrast, if you get familiar with the signals that are used to determine when to buy and sell, you may be able to use these signals to sell your stock earlier and make a higher profit as a result. Education and experience are essential, just like they are for any other investment, in order to become successful at timing. In addition to the use of leverage, the last expert strategy that has been investigated is the use of deception. It is possible to influence the market in your favor if you raise the amount of money that you are willing to risk by a significant amount. A hedging technique is another popular method used by many scalpers, and it is one that is worth mentioning. The converse is also true. It is very risky. Selling at a pace that surpasses the rate of increase in the market may result in you running out of money very quickly. One cannot predict how much the price of a cryptocurrency will rise in a short period of time, since there is no such thing as a sure bet in the cryptocurrency market. In the event that you are new to trading, it is likely that you will use one of the strategies outlined above to get your feet wet in the industry. You may find it advantageous to learn how to sell online utilizing a good business strategy, even if you are already familiar with the process of selling. The advantage of using one of these methods is that they all give you with some degree of confidence that your money will be safe and secure. In addition, you may take classes on coin value, which will aid you in evaluating when it is appropriate to sell your coins for a profit. When you have a method in place for dealing with all of these eventualities, you will be able to trade with more confidence and peace of mind. In the cryptocurrency realm, CryptoCash and CryptoWave are two of the most talked about trading platforms right now, and for good reason. Both of these strategies have gained widespread acceptance in a very short period of time, but which is the preferable way to employ? Should you consider making an investment in options for day trading or swing trading? If so, what exactly should you be looking for? If you like, you might compare the two systems and see what advantages they each have to offer. There are many notable differences between the two systems, the most noteworthy being their approach to assessing and mitigating the hazards they entail. You will only ever acquire and sell one option in a single transaction if you are using the scalping strategy, which decreases the risk to an extraordinarily minimal level. A large number of inexperienced investors are attracted to this technique since it yields minimal profit from each transaction. They want to make rapid gains but lack the requisite knowledge or understanding to do so efficiently. Because of this, people make poor investment selections and as a result, lose their hard-earned money over the long term. In comparison, with CryptoWave, you have the ability to trade many times at the same time while using expert trading strategies. With CryptoWave, the difference is that you must first register for an account before you can begin trading on the site. Following that, you will be able to do everything you want with the site, including buying and selling items and putting wagers on them. However, in order to get the most out of CryptoWave, you must first become an expert on the exchange before attempting to implement your own strategies on the platform. As a result, it may take some time, depending on how much knowledge you already have on the industry. As with everything else, expert abilities can be learned, and you will reap the rewards of your efforts if you are willing to devote the necessary time and effort to do them. Although there is a widely held belief that in order to be successful in the stock market, one must be an expert straight immediately, this is simply not true. Any kind of trade, including forex trading, has the potential to be successful if you are just moderately proficient, which is the situation with forex trading. Getting paid for your work will only begin if you have attained a certain level of skill in your chosen field of study. If you have a high level of intelligence, as well as a lot of patience, you should be able to make a fortune trading in the stock market. One of the most fundamental differences between day trading and CryptoWave trading is the kind of transactions that are permitted to be carried out on a given day. Fundamental analysis has a far less role in the Bitcoin market than it does in the traditional financial markets. There are several benefits to using the crypto market rather than the CryptoWave market, the most prominent of which is the availability of liquid markets. In contrast to CryptoWave, which enables you to trade just during certain hours of the day, crypto trading allows you to conduct transactions fast at any time of the day. A huge number of traders on the market at the same time means there is very little room for inefficiency or human error. Using an expert advisor, you may be able to entirely eliminate the human element from your trading and conduct all of your trades solely on the basis of market data that has been algorithmically crunched rather than historical data. Bringing a high degree of competence to the table distinguishes day trading from crypto wave trading, which is still another major differentiator. An experienced consultant who is certified can assist you in making some really sound trading decisions, even if you do not have a complete understanding of the market or the markets itself. A good understanding of how to interpret market data and news releases is essential for effectively executing transactions in the financial markets. If one does not have a solid understanding of the market in issue, it is difficult to use the services of an experienced attorney in this case. The reason why expert advisors do so effectively is due to the fact that they remove all of the emotions and ambiguities from the equation. When you remove these components from the equation, you are left with pure facts, which are a requirement for successful trading. When you work with a professional advisor, one of the most important benefits is that they completely eliminate any risk involved with the trading process in general. When you participate in Bitcoin trading, or any other sort of market trading where there is a danger of losing money, you are engaging in gambling, according to the dictionary. There is nothing safe about the way you are investing your money. Instead, you are just flinging your money about carelessly in the hopes that it will develop into a profitable venture. In contrast, when you use experienced advisors, you are investing your money in a trading strategy that has been shown to be profitable over time. With the guidance of an experienced attorney, all of the guesswork is removed from the equation. You have the ability to review all of the information that is available to you and make transactions depending on the information you find. Despite the fact that you may incur some losses when trading, the truth is that if you are working with a competent advisor, it is likely you will make more money in the long run than you would have otherwise earned if you had attempted to do all of the essential chores by yourself. Due to the fact that, as you can see, there are several advantages to engaging a professional counsel while trading cryptocurrencies, whether online or offline. When dealing with cryptojacking, exercise extreme caution. A job as an expert advisor is available in the cryptocurrency industry. The ability to generate more money while trading with cryptocurrencies is a significant advantage. Based on the trading strategies used by experts, it may be utilized to make money. To put it another way, if you want to make money in the stock market, you need to be familiar with the strategies used by this expert counsel. You must be conscious of the amount of work required to complete an activity in order to gain the most potential benefit from it. You will hear from the vast majority of cryptocurrency investors that they are unsatisfied with the current direction of the market. The fact that so many people are making predictions about its future makes it more difficult for those who are looking forward to it to make their own. In order to carry out this task, some incredible systems and algorithms have been designed expressly for this purpose, which is why it has garnered so much public attention. Because of this, many investors are taking a chance on whether or not the guesses they are making will result in actual financial gains. With certainty, day trading in cryptocurrencies may be profitable if you have the proper information and tools at your disposal to make it so. It is essential that you always adhere to the expert techniques of the professional advisors if you want to be effective in the cryptocurrency market-making game. These expert strategies have been developed in such a way that they will be of aid to you in the future. Specifically, they are intended to aid you in extracting the most amount of profit feasible from the market-making process. You, on the other hand, should be able to master these specialized ways to problem solving. If you want to learn how to code, the internet and other tutorials are excellent locations to begin your search. The selection of a trading platform is the first stage in the market-making process that will take place in the following steps. If possible, use a platform with which you are already accustomed and comfortable. You should also be conscious of the situation you are placing yourself in. The use of this precaution will ensure that you do not encounter any severe complications when engaging in cryptocurrency trading on the open market. You should have a look at the options that the expert advisor is offering you as soon as you arrive at the trading platform. You have the option of selecting the one that best matches your requirements. Your next step will be to choose the best method for implementing the previously indicated expert strategy. The most helpful part of this method is that it makes things easy for you to understand and implement. All that is asked of you is that you follow the expert's recommendations to the letter. It is not necessary for you to participate in any manner, shape, or form. The moment has come for you to put your professional strategy into action, now that you have one in place. If you want to try it out first, you may do so with the help of the demo account provided by the trading website. Creating this account has been done only for the purpose of putting the technique that the expert has designed to the test. You can see how it would operate if it were put into use on a real-time trading floor in real time. In the event that everything goes according to plan, you should follow this expert method closely. If you don't like it, you may just toss it away without any repercussions on your part. Indeed, in the actual world, there is no such thing as a perfect expert system to rely on. What seems to be a good idea on a demo may turn out to be a nightmare on the trading floor. Of course, you should always trust your instincts and go with your gut feelings while making decisions. Cryptojacking has the potential to be quite harmful, and it would be irresponsible to participate in it on a regular basis. To see results, just follow the expert's instructions on a semi-weekly or weekly basis, depending on your schedule. Additionally, you may use this approach to experiment with new strategies that you have developed. Maybe you'll be the one who gets fortunate and win the lottery. The use of this approach alone is likewise not suggested in the long term. Keep in mind that trading should always be based on rationality and preparedness, no matter what the market conditions are. Nothing in this article implied you could just open a live trading account and lose all of your money without taking into consideration the ramifications of your actions. When putting into action the strategy or expert plan that has been presented to you, you should use your common sense to guide you. Cryptojacking has the potential to be very damaging if left unchecked. Furthermore, it is important to remember that putting your professional approach into action on the market is not an easy undertaking. There are some people who are able to do the assignment with reasonable ease. It's probable that you've seen anything similar to this on television. According to their own assessment, some people may make millions of dollars just by following their professional strategy for a few weeks and then stopping. Those that attempt it are unable to accomplish it. As a result, proceed with care. Keep in mind that if you really want to become rich via cryptojacking, you must learn from those who are already successful. Make full advantage of their strategies and plans in order to get the best potential outcome. Maintain a sense of reality and refrain from expecting to suddenly make millions of dollars. Simply said, you must be patient and persistent in your pursuits. How to select the most appropriate cryptocurrency. To make an informed conclusion while choosing on the best day trading cryptocurrency pairs to invest in, it is necessary to first understand what makes these currencies tick in order to make an educated guess. To make money as a cryptocurrency investor, it is necessary to make the optimal cryptocurrency pair choices. When confronted with a multiplicity of possibilities, it may be difficult to choose which currencies should be utilized for financial investments. The use of a number of expert ways is available to you to aid you in making the most informed choice possible in the long run. If you find that a certain technique does not work for you, keep in mind there are other equally viable choices that you may try out instead. One of the most successful strategies of making investment selections is to rely on expert research to determine which currency pairs to invest in and which ones to avoid. In the majority of situations, this is achieved with the aid of an expert who has a proven track record and/or good success rate with these types of investment opportunities. Getting referrals from friends and family is a fantastic way to discover a knowledgeable professional. Inquire with your friends, family members, and business associates about someone they would recommend as a replacement. Utilizing the large quantity of knowledge available on the internet is also a viable option for those seeking assistance. Various expert procedures are readily available to the public. Trend trading is one of the most well-known methods of trading, having been around for decades. This approach is used by a significant number of people to make money since it is both profitable and risk-free, which attracts many people. When it comes to currency pairings, there are several options from which to pick during this method. But the most crucial element to consider is whether or not the market is open for business in the pair being considered. There are new trends emerging in the sector on a daily basis. Tempo and duration of the trends, on the other hand, are subject to vary day by day. More supply is made available to a crypto coins market, which means the trend is likely to be quicker and more dramatic as time progresses. Keep your distance from extremes of a trend, since doing so will result in big losses in the majority of cases. The relative strength rating is yet another expert strategy that is now being used in the market. This technique takes into consideration how strong the current price is in relation to other past values. Also considered in determining the value of the coin is the amount of demand for it that exists in the market at the time of the computation. Never forget that no coin has ever had a perfect history or a flawless present, and this is especially true of gold coins. Some coins will always have some flaws. However, the greater amount of flaws present on a coin, the better the coin is regarded to be in overall condition. The phrase velocity indicators refers to a different kind of expert technique that might be used in this situation. A coin or currency's price is tracked and studied using these tools. They are particularly useful when dealing with small change coins, such as silver dollars, since they are highly effective. The specialist is capable of determining the velocity with an extremely high degree of accuracy. Additionally, you have the option of creating your own velocity indicator. In addition, it is critical to understand that even experienced counselors cannot guarantee the result of any given case. You might think of them as tools that aid you in making an informed decision based on your research and comprehension of the circumstances at hand. Additionally, there is a big number of competent counselors that are available for free on the web. It is strongly advised that you do comprehensive research before downloading any of them from the internet. It is also important to compare the conclusions you get from these specialists with the results you obtain from your own research. In addition, it is important to note that no professional can ever guarantee a profit in any given situation. In this sector, the quantity of money you are able to make is decided by your degree of knowledge and experience. In the beginning stages of your coin collection, experienced advisors may be quite valuable. Furthermore, they may come in helpful if you are doubtful about the value of a specific coin that you are thinking about acquiring in the future. Despite popular belief, the great majority of knowledgeable advisors can aid you in locating rare coins to add to your collection, therefore enhancing the overall value of your collection. How to trade cryptocurrency and foreign exchange, Forex. Cryptocurrency traders are always on the search for new information on how to trade the cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrencies, as compared to conventional money transfers, are a faster, easier, and more secure method of sending payments between individuals and companies. Given the fact that more traders are coming to the craze every day, it is not difficult to see why more traders are flocking to the craze every day. When you take all of this into consideration, you have to ask yourself, how can I trade crypt? If you are dealing with the cryptocurrency asset class, this article will discuss some of the expert tactics and strategies that traders may use to their benefit when dealing with this asset class. Historically, many traders have considered price fluctuations to be a profitable trading method, and this is shown to be true in the past. When it comes to various situations, prices are often changing by the second, enabling a large number of traders to profit from these price swings. Finding the most favorable time to complete a transaction, on the other hand, may become tricky. In this case, the use of indicators may be used to get around the problem. It is possible to use them to gain suggestions on whether it is better to buy or sell, as well as a view of what the underlying market will look like before the move takes place. Another option is to trade on cryptocurrency exchanges, which are similar to stock markets in that they allow you to buy and sell Bitcoin. Essentially, these are virtual stock exchanges where you can trade true crypto coin pairs rather than traditional US dollars, and they are growing more popular. Many of them are completely web-based, and others of them are available just online. Others, depending on the country, may still be carried out via the use of brokers as mediators between them. As a beginner, it is good to get familiar with the major exchanges, especially since their transaction charges are often higher. You should also be aware with the manner in which the transaction is carried out, as well as the look of the participants in the market. Other methods include the dissemination of information that is likely to have an influence on the cryptocurrencies. With the use of moving averages, traders may predict the movement of a particular currency pair before it really happens. Moving averages are a popular trading strategy because they enable traders to predict the movement of a currency pair before it actually occurs. This entails taking a look at any new information that has been made public about that particular pair in question. Furthermore, the capability of reading financial news and understanding how it affects the markets is necessary. Once you have gained an understanding of how the marketplace functions, you may begin to identify how it affects your transactions and, as a consequence, make more educated decisions. One popular form of trading on the digital currency exchanges is via the use of a free service known as MetaTrader, which allows users to execute trades on the exchanges. This service is offered by a huge number of brokerage companies, and it is undoubtedly the most popular method for traders to learn the fundamentals of trading. It provides a variety of benefits over and beyond the usage of a standard bank account, among them the ability to transfer funds across accounts. A big benefit is that it charges its clients low commissions, which is one of the most important advantages. The fact that the MetaTrader platform may be accessible from any point on the planet at any time is another benefit of utilizing it. In the event of a shutdown, you will be able to trade currencies at any time of day or night, including weekends and public holidays. It is feasible for you to keep track of your assets from anywhere, including your place of employment, the road, or any other location. It is a simple process to get started with this method by utilizing MetaTrader. This service is also accessible to those who are located anywhere in the globe and are interested in checking out a new coin. Despite the fact that a large number of people are interested in learning how to trade cryptocurrencies, not everyone is comfortable with the idea of buying and selling at the whim of the market. Many traders have learned that before they can begin trading, they must first get a fundamental grasp of the market in which they operate. Because of this, there are a lot of free webinars accessible to aid you in learning all you need to know about trading in the financial markets. When it comes to learning how to trade in this manner, participating in one of these webinars is highly recommended. To summarize, the most successful strategy to learning how to trade crypto surfers is to first get acquainted with the market itself, which is the most time-consuming. Take note of the recommendations of industry experts, including those you've read about in books and those you've met in person. After investing the appropriate time in market research, you'll be on your road to making profits from the asset you have picked. It is possible to earn a decent living by buying and selling assets over the long term if you have the right expertise. And this is just one of the numerous techniques to trade crypto surfers that you may use to your benefit. Cryptocurrency trading tactics that work. This system is designed to predict the behavior of the top 10 crypto market capitalization based on the assumption that there is always a hard core of coins in the top 10 crypto market capitalization, consisting of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ripple, and Dash, while the other positions are quite variable and are traded in turn by coins such as Monero, IOTA, Cardano, Ethereum Classic, Neo, and NEM, among others. Using the example above, if you start with a $1,000 budget, you must acquire $100 in value of each cryptocurrency in the top 10 rankings. Always make sure to check them on a regular basis and make sure to pay them in when you reach the stated goals. Developing a plan for the accumulation of resources. CAP. The original use of this approach was in the management of investment funds by banks, but it is perfectly replicable in the arena of cryptocurrencies as well as other financial organizations. Capacity accumulation plans, CAPs, are based on the essential assumptions of progressive capital accumulation and risk mitigation via the use of dollar-cost averaging, which are supported by the literature. When acquiring 3 unique cryptocurrencies, for example, it is necessary to buy 3 individual tokens, with the first 2 likely to be well established, such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, and the third likely to be an emerging currency, such as Stellar Lumen. Next, decide which amounts to invest in and how often you will need to check on your portfolio to see how things are moving. After that, you may start investing. A cryptocurrency investment strategy based on the value of cryptocurrencies. Among the medium and long-term strategies, the buy value strategy stands out, which is similar to the previous strategy, CAP, but differs in terms of the currencies on which to bet. The buy value strategy is similar to the previous strategy, CAP, but differs in terms of the currencies on which to bet. In many ways, the buy value approach is similar to the previous strategy, CAP, but varies in terms of the currencies on which it is recommended to place bets. It is necessary to choose a cryptocurrency in this situation on the basis of its long-term potential, which is influenced by variables such as strong projects such as EOS, Verge, or Tron, low price, a huge community of users, and the launch of any new technology. Investigating and understanding these features will aid you in making the best decision when picking the coins for your strategy. Milliseconds are used strategically in the world of cryptocurrency. In this article, we will look at the success of cryptocurrency tokens that started out as a few pennies and have now grown to be household names with market capitalizations in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're talking about actual gold nuggets, and it's your duty to figure out which ones are in the top 100. If you pick at least 5, it is advised that you spend $100 in each of them and then save the remaining money. Trading strategy for cryptocurrencies in the short term. After going through the tactics that have been offered for the medium-long term, let's have a look at short-term cryptocurrency trading to bring this roundup to a close. For those who are new to cryptocurrency trading, the goal is to make money by speculating on daily fluctuations that determine the value of an asset, or in this instance, the value of a cryptocurrency. The approach, which requires a significant investment of time and work to keep up with the market, is based on the simple notion of purchasing when the price falls and selling when the price rises. How to make your investment a profitable venture. Learn the foundations of the game first and foremost. Make sure you don't invest your money in something you don't comprehend. Before going on to the next level, it is necessary to understand the blockchain's functioning, including its lexicon, technological features, and the dynamics that are at play in this environment. Don't rush things. Gaining a comprehensive grasp of a topic requires a large investment of time and effort. Amass a wealth of practical knowledge. The cryptocurrency markets are still in their infancy when compared to traditional financial markets, and they are thus prone to significant levels of volatility. The practice of trading does not happen on the spur of the moment and requires knowledge and competence. When it comes to gambling, you should never put more money at danger than you can afford to lose. Every day, keep up with the newest news and developments in the world of cryptocurrency trading and investing. Keep up with the latest developments in blockchain technology by checking news websites, following it on social media, and participating in discussion groups on platforms such as Telegram and other similar platforms, among other activities. Make your own investigations. Before investing in a project, be certain that you have done comprehensive research on it. After you've gone through every detail of the cryptocurrency in which you want to invest, ask yourself the following questions. What is the proper way to capitalize the word? What is the volume of the market, and what is the history of the stock's price in relation to that volume? And who exactly is on the squad, and are they all authentic and believable? Ensure that the company's registration with the government is up to date. Is the project generating a sufficient amount of traction? What I'm trying to figure out is if the white paper on which I'm advising is a representation of a specific objective, or whether the project's goals look to be unachievable in the first place. If I have any questions, is the project's personnel accessible to answer them? And is the community that has sprung up around it still active? Do I have faith in the exchange on which I'm trading? And am I certain that it is legitimately registered? And if all of this isn't enough, there's always the option of going back to square one. Put your trust in your intuition. It's very okay to be skeptical. If you are not entirely convinced by a project, it may not be worth your time and money to pursue it further. The moment to quit or exit a transaction may come when you learn that anything is wrong with your investment or when you are no longer confident in your ability to proceed. Because stagnation is the enemy of a world that is always changing, make every effort to educate yourself as much as possible before acting on your knowledge and intuition to go ahead in the market. Conclusion. You can confidently assert that you have gained sufficient understanding regarding how to go about investing in cryptocurrencies. Make use of the information you have gained from this book to make an investment in a digital currency. While doing so, use caution. A cryptocurrency investment requires extensive study, as well as conviction in your choice to remain on through what is expected to be a roller coaster ride of price swings. If you are able to do this, the payback period may be well worth it, given that the expected returns are higher than those of most other asset classes. Hey, and don't miss my other publication. I'm sure that you will be interested. Discover and learn the best metaverse investing strategies for today. The world of the metaverse is a world in constant growth, a fascinating world full of investment opportunities. There are many people who try to invest and create profit with this technology, but only a few are willing to study and really understand what the metaverse is, how it works, and how the world will develop and change in the coming years. This is a book that will definitely guide you to learn everything related to the metaverse. With a particular focus on investments in the best digital assets, is an opportunity that you must not miss. Would you like to learn the best metaverse investments? If so, then you are in the right place. I want to show you some of the things that we are going to cover together in the book so that you can better understand what we are going to learn. Here is just some of the topics we will touch together. The true meaning of metaverse. Why the metaverse is important. Making money with NFTs, marketing in the metaverse, much more. Blockchain and cryptocurrency are a part of the global phenomenon that has taken over the world. They are a modern wave of innovation that is already reshaping the industry, social and political relationships, and every other form of exchanging value. Still, they seem so alien, and it seems like nobody knows anything about them. Mainstream media is riddled with mysteries, myths, and partial answers to many questions regarding crypto. What exactly are cryptocurrencies? How does blockchain technology work? How are they related to real-world currencies, such as the US dollar or the euro? How can they be obtained? This book bridges the gap between strictly technical books about the blockchain and the research-based books primarily concerned with practical applications, discussions of its expected economic effect, and future visions. It will be your guide through the unknown and complicated world of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. And if you are interested in the decentralized and open source world, this might interest you. Have a look. Linux for Beginners. How to master the Linux operating system and command line from scratch. Are you looking for a comprehensive guide that will teach you how to use Linux and manage it like a pro? Are you having trouble going through the Linux distributions available and deciding which one is better for your needs? Do you want to take a systematic look at how far you have come with your learning? If yes, then keep reading. Without question, Linux is the most efficient operating system. Yes, you may believe that Windows and Mac OS are efficient operating systems because they dominate so much of the PC market. But here are statistics that will change your mind. This book is helpful even if you have never used Linux before but want to master it, add it to your skill set, and maybe use it for networking, programming, or even basic web browsing. Fortunately, this book takes an easy-to-follow, beginner-friendly approach to introduce you to anything you need to know, whether you are a beginner or an expert, so you can apply what you have learned right away.